function that is the derivative of this. And when we are done, to replace x by 4. Exactly. Exactly. So this will be the slope of the tangent line to the graph of y at 4, the instantaneous rate of change. Okay, do I like this? Oh no. Of course not. Now I can differentiate it and find dy over dx. dy over dx, or y prime, or f prime of x, they all mean the same thing. I'm bringing -3 down, so it's -6/5 times x to -4. Subtract 1 from the power. Now, I prefer, it doesn't matter, I'm going to use this notation, but I prefer in this case this notation because I'm asked to find f prime of 4. But they want us to use this, but that's fine. They want us to use the Leibniz notation. Fine. Just to make it more interesting, maybe. Okay, so then dy over dx when x is 4 will be -6/5 times 4 to the 4th power. Whatever that is, I have my calculator up, but I really don't care for doing that. So 5 times 4 to the 4th power, I got 1280. So -6/1280, and now I have to simplify it by 2. -3,640, that's it. So again, this is the rate of change of that function at that point. Any questions?
And in the problem, we'd have to put the units, right? Like,
yes, and okay. The units will always be 2 measurement units for the slope. Always 2 is the rate of change, always 2. Okay, so let's say 59 as g of x equals the cube root of x squared. And they want us to find the tangent at -1, 1. The equation of the line, of the tangent line at this point. Find the equation of the tangent line. I'm going to call this P because it's easier to write. I know how to write that, y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1, where -1 is x1 and 1 is y1, but I do not have this. Again, what this is, how do I determine it? Can anyone tell us? How do I determine the slope of the tangent line at P?
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1?
G prime of -1. The derivative evaluated at -1. So first we have to find the derivative, and then we plug in -1 to get the slope of the tangent line to the graph of this function at P. Now this is an ugly situation. Okay, so I'm going to start with a note. Similarly with this formula, 1 over x prime equals -1 over x squared, I'm going to ask you to remember one more. Okay? And this is the square root of x prime. So let's calculate this. I know that's not what we have, but let's determine this quickly. So remember, the square root of x is the same with x to which power? Who would like to help?
1/2.
Of course, thank you very much. Okay, so then I know how to differentiate. X to 1/2 prime, bring down 1/2, subtract 1 from the power, but this becomes -1/2. So then I have 1 over 2, the square root of x. So please carve this in stone in your memory if you like, that the square root of x prime is 1 over 2 the square root of x. So put these aside and remember them, please. Because at any test and final exam, if you have to look up everything, you will not be able to finish. So this is a very important formula. Okay, and you can say, what does this have to do with that? Well, for this, I'm not going to ask you to memorize a formula. For this, we have to do it by force, by, step by step. Here, now we prove this, and we should get this at any moment in time. If we need the square root of x prime, this is it. Okay. So now let's come back to the problem. So the problem is really g of x, which is the cube root of x squared. Stop me if you have questions, please. Okay, so g of x, the cube root of x squared. So now this is x. That's why we reviewed the quotient rules and radicals and so on and so forth. We need the power for this. If we don't remember how to change this into a power, we are in trouble. Anyone?
2/3.
Very good. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you. So now g prime will be 2/3 x to 2/3 minus 1. So 2/3 minus 1 is negative 1/3. Yes, if you'd like, you can change it into 2/3, the cube root of x. This is where I have to plug in negative 1. So the slope that we are trying to determine is g prime, but I have to find the function. I have to find g prime first in order to plug it in, to plug in negative 1. So the slope is g prime of negative 1. Can anyone plug in here negative 1 and tell us what it is?
Negative 2/3.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Great job. So now all I have to do is just go back here and plug in negative 2/3. And the whole thing is done. Y minus 1 equals negative 2/3. Where am I? X minus minus will change into plus, x plus 1. At any point in time, I have to solve for y. Every time I'm asked to find the equation, every time I'm asked to find the equation of the tangent line, blah, 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 it has to be solved for y. So I have to distribute and then add 1. So y equals negative 2/3 x minus 2/3 plus 1. So y equals negative 2/3 x, but plus 1/3. Any questions? Okay, I'd like to look at one more before we look at a word problem. So these are techniques. We are looking at how to approach the derivative, how to find the derivative, etc., etc. And the big purpose is to go to word problems. Okay, so let's look at another problem. So on page 155, we have questions like, find the points on the graph where the tangent line is horizontal, points where tangent line is horizontal. And another type is, find the points on the graph at which the tangent line has slope 1. Tangent line has slope 1. You feel like doing an example from each, or just one or the other?
One from each.
Good. Okay, so the first one with the horizontal line. So let's discuss that. Okay, so 75 on 155. Y equals x cubed minus 6x plus 1. Tangent line is horizontal. So if a line is horizontal, what is its slope?
0.
Perfect. How do I determine what function will determine the slope of this line at any point? What do I need to do to find the function that gives the slope of the tangent line at any point?
Minus 6.
That's it. So bring down 3x squared minus 6. That's it. And then, as you told me perfectly, you said you have to set this equal to 0. Fine. I will move 6 divided by 3. And I will take the square root. And I will get x equals plus or minus the square root of 2. So there are 2 points for this function. Point A with the square root of 2, f of the square root of 2, and point B with negative the square root of 2, and f of negative the square root of 2. Let me show again how we do this. I'm sure you know. So let's go to the graphing calculator. In y equals, if I find my keyboard, yes, I think I did find it. Actually, I don't need the keyboard when I type in there. Okay, so in y equals, clear, and put in this function, x to the third minus 6x and plus 1. Go to the second table, punch in the square root of 2, or maybe the first is negative the square root of 2, and then the square root of 2. Okay, so I got, let's stick with 2 decimals. So f of the square root of 2, of negative the square root of 2 is 6.66. And
can you move your paper up? We can't see the bottom.
yeah, just give me 1 second to copy the other one. So what was the other one? Yes, negative 4.66. Good. Yes, thank you so much, because I can't see what, yes. So we set it equal to 0, because that's what they're asking us, horizontal line. And I moved 6, I divide by 3, divided by 3, so I got 2, so I have to take square roots. Remember, plus or minus do not come from this side, they come from this side, from the absolute value. So then we have 2 points, one point with x the square root of 2, and the other point with x negative the square root of 2. So I had to plug in the function to determine the y value. So for point A, I have the y value negative 4.66. And for point B, I have the y value 6.66. So you also said to look at one with, okay, so let's say 79. It's exactly the same. Y equals 6x minus x squared. But this time, they're telling us that the tangent line has slope 1. How will we, let's talk about this for a moment. How will we address this issue?
Would we do the same thing as the horizontal one, but
Exactly.
instead of having 0, we'd have 1?
Exactly. Mallory, is that what you wanted to say?
Yeah, and it's of course loud in my house tonight. So just this is the one where the tangent line has a slope of 1. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Tangent. No. You're right. Tangent line is has slope 1. So then 6 minus 2x equals 1. Negative 2x, I have to move 6 to the other side, is negative 5 because it's negative 6 plus 1. Divide both sides by negative 2, 5 halves. Not enough. P, A, B, whatever, is just 1 point in this case. 5 halves the function value at 5/2. So quickly, I will plug it in, change y to what I have now, 6x minus x squared, 6x minus x squared, and then I only want to plug in 2.5.
So
And
whatever
8.7.
number we get to plug in, right? Like we're, you know, this one it was 5/2 or whatnot. To find x at 5/2, we always do it of the original equation,
But
not
because it's a point on the function, we are
No, I
asked
just
to
wanted
find.
to double check.
Yes, because we are asked to find the point on the function. Exactly. Okay, so now let's look at our problem here. Where is my book? No, that's not my book. Where is my book? Here it is. Okay, so page number 155. Where's my keyboard? I got it. Okay. I have too much on my table and too many keyboards. Okay, so let's talk about the growth of a child. The median weight of a boy whose age is between 0 and 36 months is approximated by all this, where T is in months and W is in pounds. Pounds, months. And here's the graph of this function. Okay. Use this model to approximate the following: the rate of change of weight with respect to time. Okay. They're asking us to find the rate of change of weight with respect to time. What are they really asking us to find? Let me copy the function in the meantime till you tell me. What is that when they ask? So this is 87 on 155, W of t, pounds function of time, in months, 8.15 plus 1.82 t minus 0.0596 t squared and plus 0.000758 t cubed. So can anyone help and just tell us what they're asking us to do?